Hey guys, so it is finally here. Godzilla Planet of the Monsters is now on Netflix. It's been a long time waiting for many G fans like myself who've been asking for a true Japanese anime-style Godzilla film or series for decades now. I'm not a huge anime fan by any means, but it surprised me that it took Toho so long to put Godzilla into this format. When I was a kid, I remember seeing the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla cartoons, and even then I thought they were a little too childish, and that comes from someone who grew up mostly on the Showa-era Godzilla films. Well, we finally have it. Toho Studios has finally made their own animation studios, and now it's time to finally see the worlds of Godzilla and Japanese animation come together. First off, I really like the dark and serious tone that the film took. In the film series, Godzilla King of Monsters, or Gojira, and Shin Godzilla were really the only two movies with any real serious edge to them. I think both of the films did the best they could without being rated R to show the grim reality of what would really happen if a monster of that size really attacked a populated area. We get to see this idea amplified even further in Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. This time the Earth has been hit so hard by the kaiju that the only option for the humans is to simply leave the planet. It's stated during the initial attack on Godzilla before the evacuation that over 150 nukes were dropped on Godzilla all at once, and it still didn't kill him. When Godzilla first shows up for us in the movie, we get a taste of his version of the atomic breath on one of the evacuating ships. The sheer sound and power of this blast is amazing. I thought that the breath started to get really cool and powerful in movies like Final Wars, Godzilla vs. Destroya, and Mechagodzilla 2, but this is just amazing. One small twist that I didn't expect to see in this film was the existence of two humanoid alien races called the Saludo and the Exif. They show up when the situation on Earth has gotten dire and they offer assistance with defeating Godzilla in exchange for allowing them to live on Earth. The Saludo are obviously an homage to the Black Hole Planet 3 aliens from the old Godzilla movies. To me, the two Exif aliens are especially intriguing as it seems that they either know of or at least they've dealt with something that's like Godzilla before. It wouldn't surprise me at all in the later movies if these aliens have hidden or evil intentions. Now, the crew originally thought they were only away from Earth for 10,000 years, although upon landing they discovered that they've actually been away for 20,000 years. During this time, most of the planet's been irradiated from Godzilla. The planets have now grown to enormous size and have amazing defense mechanisms. It's here that we're introduced to the Servum, a small winged dragon-like creature that's evolved from or descended from Godzilla himself. I thought the idea of these guys was pretty cool, but we only got to see them interact with the humans, not really with Godzilla or any of the other monsters. And speaking of other kaiju, that was one of the film's biggest mistakes. In the build-up for this movie, we were shown a timeline of kaiju attacks on Earth. It would start off with an attack from Kamacuras and then progress through many other kaiju. Unfortunately, none of these kaiju really made appearances in the film. All we got to see were quick pictures of news footage from 4 or 5 different attacks. Many of the kaiju that were listed in the timeline weren't even shown in these quick news clips. Are these kaiju even still alive? Did Godzilla already kill them off? What happened here? Godzilla movies are all about the giant monsters, and I think Toho really screwed up here by not showing us the other kaiju. All we can hope for is that this was a tease for the next 2 Godzilla films, and that more kaiju will eventually appear on screen. Now, the final battle with Godzilla is really well done. We get to see some nice shots with the hover bikes, and seeing Godzilla's atomic breath never gets old. Surprisingly, they actually end up killing off Godzilla by the end of the film. Of course, the survivors are excited and happy until one of them mentions that it doesn't make sense that Godzilla looks the same here as he did when they left Earth 20,000 years ago. Just as they're saying that this Godzilla may be an offspring from the original one, a massive earthquake happens, and you can guess it's not an earthquake. The real Godzilla is coming. He's buried underground at first, and when he breaks through to make his entrance, we get an amazing scene. People stated before this movie that he was 300 meters tall, but it's clear here that when they said that he's at 300 meters tall, he's not even fully standing up yet. I would have to say that he's closer to 400 plus meters tall. It's absolutely insane. The survivors are in sheer terror, and they should be. Of course, everyone who's still alive tries to get the heck out of there, yet Godzilla's having nothing of that. He simply swings his tail and it destroys everything for miles. You could even see a blue curved hue in the winds caused by the tail. It's hard to tell if this attack is powered by his electromagnetism or if the sheer movement of the tail is so big it causes enough wind power to do that kind of damage. We then see him roar at one of the ships, causing a blast of sonic waves destroying everything in the air. I didn't see any atomic breath here either. It's almost like he simply yelled at the ships and destroyed them. Do you guys think he was actually using his atomic breath here, or was he simply yelling at the ship and it does that much damage? The film then ends on a cliffhanger with us finally seeing the real Godzilla Earth. It's too bad we don't get to see more of him, but I have to say I did enjoy the first part of the movie with the smaller Godzilla, and until seeing the bigger Godzilla, the first Godzilla was huge. As much as I did love the movie, I will have to say that the voice acting for Haruo was way over the top. I like the buildup of his story with his tragic past. It makes you want to see him succeed, but he became a little crazy in the movie. Another big drawback of the film was Mechagodzilla. I never expected Mecha-G to be a drawback, but he really wasn't used in the film. Apparently the aliens helped the humans create Mechagodzilla, yet they're not able to deploy him in time. It's never really explained why they're not able to activate Mecha-G, but it would have been awesome to have seen him in action. I wouldn't worry about it too much though, as we've been teased from Toho Animation that Mechagodzilla will return in part 2. If you managed to stay through the credits, then you got to see the end cutscene. Here we see that Haruo has not only survived this final attack, but he's being helped out by someone who is still living on Earth. The real kicker here is though, that they are inside the ruins of Mechagodzilla. So in conclusion, I love how this version of Godzilla is handled. I'm a fan of the design of Legendary's Godzilla, and even though I wish this design was a little more original, I do think that the end product works well on film. Not to mention that even though the two Godzilla versions may look somewhat alike, this version's very different, especially in origin and power set. I'm not a huge fan of the cell shading style animation, but I don't think it held this movie back too much. The animation overall was colorful and had some amazing scenery. The music was a huge bonus, although the more modern song during the bike scenes was a little out of place to me. We just need to see more kaiju in the next two films, and not just Mechagodzilla. Even if Godzilla's already killed off the other kaiju, then let's see some flashback footage of this. I mean, come on Toho, show us the kaiju. All in all, this is a must-see for any Godzilla fan, and for most anime fans. I really enjoyed it, and I have to say right now, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, but I wasn't expecting much either. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about the film. Let me know your questions and comments down below, and as always, I'd like to thank you for all your likes, shares, and subscriptions. Take care, have a good one, and I hope to see you next time.